What's going on? Move the mouse here, back in City Skylines, the town of Rockdale, with our Let's Play series, episode 10. And we've been dragging our feet long enough on this little project. It's time to expand our industry, at least expand its capacity to import and export goods. And we're going to work on our cargo train project today. So I'm going to pause it because we've got a growing demand of a lot of stuff happening here, and I do want to meet those, but we've got to jump over here to trains. We've got to start laying some basic track down. So let's do that first and foremost. Let's connect our external lines, which can allow us to import and export goods from off the map. So let's kind of bring that over here. We'll zoom way out so we can do kind of a smooth curve. Keep it kind of in line with the edge of our map there, kind of parallel to our highway. We'll do that. I want to see where we can come from over here. This one, it looks like we're going to have to go over our highways a bit. Let's bring this out. We'll curve it up. Again, we'll stick kind of parallel to the side of our map. Now, I want to go over to my straight tool for a minute, and I want to bring this up over the highway. We'll do as smooth of a slope as we can. Zoom in a bit here. And we want it to just squeak over the highway before we take it back. Actually, no, we'll leave this raised up. We'll switch over to our curved. We'll zoom out a bit. We want to kind of run this one, go up a little more before we curve it. So we want to come over the highway over there. The same thing, we'll just go over our highway. Build ourselves a little bridge. Bring it over the zone. Switch to my curve tool because I do want to curve this just a tiny little bit. And we'll leave it right there for now. Let's reconnect those power lines. And let's figure out a way to get the cargo station in here. Now, what we're going to want to do, we're going to want to support this with the same roads that we did before. But we need the trucks that are leaving here to be able to get over to the cargo terminal. So we'll come over here. We'll come out 20 units. We don't really care about the zoning space that much. And we're just going to build a big central block here. And then we'll connect it back over this way. Now, actually, what I did want to do with that, and it does not need to be this big of a road, I know. But we just want this to be a one-way. We want, again, to really control the flow of traffic here, so that as trucks leave the zone, they can either head to the highway, they can head to our commercial park in the original city that we started, or they can double back around and hit the cargo station, which we're about to drop in on this block. So we'll come over here. Cargo train terminal, we'll throw it on this side. Let's see where. We want to do it kind of in the middle of the block, because that gives us room to... How crooked was that? Wow. Let's redo this before we slap our... Before we slap the cargo train terminal down. I didn't realize how crooked that was. There we go. It's a little better. Back over here. And again, we'll do that cargo train terminal kind of in the middle of the block. That way we've got some room to bring our train tracks to and from. So back to our train tracks. So we'll come out here. And we can smooth that out after the fact, because that is a terrible slope right there. We don't want to leave it like that, just for aesthetic reasons. But that will at least get us started here. And then we'll come out, we'll curve up and over. And then we'll curve it back around here. And curve it back to there. Again, we're going to raise these tracks. We're going to clean that up. That is just slop right there. But this connects us inbound and outbound of the city. And we'll also start to make use of this as our route around the city as well too. So we will clean these up. But we've got an active cargo terminal there now. We do need to water it. Let's extend that out. We do need to power it probably, because that is not close enough to any of the other zones that have power. We've got these little dead spots though in the industry blocks there. So that will allow us to power it. And then the last thing I want to do before I hit play is I want to check out our fire and police coverage. So we'll drop a little fire station there and a little police station on that side of that. And then this can help right there, circle back around and go back home at that point. So that gives us some options there. Let's go ahead and hit play. We'll speed things up a bit, because all these trucks that are leaving the zone right now aren't pathing there yet. They don't even know to go there. I didn't even notice when we were laying down our power. Apparently we didn't finish connecting that, so let's hit play. That should spread nicely over there, but we still do need water for the fire and police. Okay, that's good there. We've got buildings leveling up because of the availability of that cargo station now. Now let's see, are they pathing this way yet? Probably not. Like I said, we will clean these up. This is a bit of a mess, but I want to get the train track built around our city as well too, at least around all the major metropolitan parts, and then we can kind of fine tune how we come off of that loop and into things like the cargo terminal, into things like this loop. Now some commenters, a couple commenters did mention like, I don't need this loop because the train will just come to the station then back right out. But I really like the kind of look and feel of coming into the city and then swooping back out. Even if the trains don't use it, I just kind of like the look. Again, it's just an aesthetic thing. It's just a personal preference. You don't necessarily have to do that. It's the same thing with the subways. Like I have a subway over here in the industrial. Let me bring up my metro tunnels here. Like the lines will come in and then just reverse right away. So you can see like this is going to park here. And even though it can't drive through the station, it will just turn around, take the other track back in. And there's two tracks, so you can alternate kind of which trains are where. These trains will do the same thing. So we don't necessarily need this loop coming back in. And we might delete this piece over here because we can just kind of circle the city with this part. It doesn't matter as much. But that gives us a decent little start there. We've got two empty dumps over here. Let's go into our inspector and stop emptying. Do the same thing over here. We'll stop emptying and we will empty this one now. And once this one is empty, we'll probably blow this one away because I don't need that many dump trucks. So let's relocate this while I still can. So turn the building off. No, don't come in there. There we go. I just wanted to turn it where the entrances were both on that side so the dump trucks don't have to go out to this last street. We'll see if it was a good or a bad decision because it might mean more dump truck traffic on this little side street. But one thing that we can do is to give them an easy way to turn around. Should be able to connect these two up. Get a little loop back there. But I would like to move this at least once this is empty, so that it kind of lines up parallel to the others. We can get some more incinerators in there if we need. But we also need to look, we've got some garbage piling up over here, because this one is full. So we've got to come up with some ways to smooth that out. What we could do right now, we don't need this power line over here, because that power spreads just fine from the city over there. But we could fill in this just a little bit with maybe some residential neighborhoods, and we can get a little funky here, kind of how these are lining up. So we could do this. I don't want that road to meet. I want this to all kind of stay back here. We could run... That's actually not working with our zoning that great. But we'll do a couple little small residential neighborhoods back here. So I want this zoning on the side streets to win out. So we'll zone this out first. If I remember, that should be all watered, but let's double check that. It is. Excellent. So we'll have some small houses built in over there. Again, we've got some residential demand, so let's meet it. We do have all this space over here too. This is probably the next little residential pocket. I'm going to transition from the higher density here into more of the low density over here. We will want to, you know, put some metro stops and bus lines out here eventually. But for right now, we'll let this little residential pocket fill in and address some of that demand. Now, we do have some more commercial demand, and I kind of would like to extend up here. Let's take a look. We certainly don't need all this electrical line. This was connected at one point for our water pumps, but you can see like we're connected here. That's coming over there, going over to industry. So we should be good there. So let's break out our road tool and do some more fun streets down this way. So we'll come over as far as we can. What do we got down here? Maybe we could connect this up. Let's do that. We'll knock out that one building. We're just providing some more commercial space here. The same thing back here. We'll leave that block. Actually, we'll leave this block open. That's just a waste of zoning space right there. Go over to our zoning tool. Now for these, I think I'm going to do the low density. We had the higher density down here, but it was supported well off that network. But we'll do some more low density over here by the highway. And that should meet that need for just a little bit. Oh, we turned this other dump off. We don't need that off anymore because I was able to move it or it filled up. So let's turn that building back on. And we've got a water problem up here. Let's see what's going on. I don't think that's coverage. I think that's demand. It is. Now, again, we could, and I mentioned this in past episodes, you could increase the budget. I think what I'm going to do for now is I'm just going to add a new That's not going to be powered, unfortunately. We'll put it here for right now. We'll fill that in. That gets us into the green for a little bit. We'll cram one more treatment facility in here for now. And we'll hook that up too. So that should get both our water availability and our sewage treatment into the green. This little neighborhood's filling up nicely. And I think we're going to do more of that over here too. Some more low density residential, and then we'll really have our big city kind of focused on either side of the river. We'll probably buy these tiles going south towards the water. Let's see how many tiles we have left. We get one in just a couple thousand people, and we can buy 4 more tiles. So let's look at it from this angle. So I think we'll buy at least that tile and that tile. And then maybe depending on where that gets us down to in the waterfront, we might keep building that way. So we might have a skinny city here. It sprawls out a little bit to the side over on this way. But we've got plenty of room to expand on this side of the highway. We've got a decent pocket there. We've got room up here. Kind of one of the next big projects is going to be up here in the farming. And I've been saying we're going to do it for a while. We've got a little bit of time left this episode. I've been trying to keep them around a half an hour. So maybe it's time to start it on farming. Because we've got that industrial demand. We've got our residential and commercial met pretty well. We could keep slapping down more offices, but that requires education. And we're doing okay on that front, but we should be able to build some farms in here too. So let's take a look at our interchange here. I'd like to kind of build it in. I don't want it too close to this one. So we could kind of build it in way up here. I think it will let me do that, but let's see if the slope is too steep. We could play it a little bit safer and kind of build it in. Try and do it right about there. So let's do that. Those 2 cars to this gap right here. So we'll take all that out and see where we can slap this in. So I think it was the upper highway we wanted longer. I mean, that would work. It would be okay. Kind of like that. I think we will do that. So we'll break out our highway tool again, and we will finish these roads that we just broke. Now for this one, I want to curve it just a little, tiny little bit. Let's do the same thing down here. So we'll curve this just a little bit. Ooh, that was a little sloppy. That was a little better. Maybe we redo this one. Take 2. A little better. Okay, so we've got that. Now those lighter green patches are fertile farmland. We go into our info views. We can go down here to see where our natural resources are, and you can see that that's some prime farmland right there. And then up on the hill, we've even got some ore that we could start mining up there. So let's start in with some basic farmland. So I've got this kind of big highway loop here that we didn't necessarily need. In fact, let's do this. Let's convert that to 2-lane roads, 2-lane one-way roads, just to free up a little bit of space here. And this isn't going to be... We can always upgrade this later. But let's do what we've done in the past. And we'll do a little 45-degree angle. I'm only going to come out 10 units on this one. Because we're not going to have as much traffic, or at least I'm not planning on as much traffic over here. I want a little bit of farming happening over here on the side of the map. We'll do that. I did mean to do one-ways there, so let's upgrade those before we forget. And we will change our direction down here. And then we will connect those up. Now, how do we want to do this? So, I kind of want to curve this around the area. Let's do that, and then we'll come out a little bit and curve it back around here. I want this to be much more kind of free-flowing, if you will. Let's break this one down. Let's do this. Let's try this curve again here. So that's not a bad little exterior road. Some of you may think that is garbage, but I'm okay with that. I want this to be a little bit more free-flowing. We could fill it in with some trees and decorate a little bit. But let's... While it's paused, we're going to start to define this as industry. And I don't want to do on the highway itself. I know this would be faster probably with the selection tool, but I just don't feel like going in to deselect anything after if I incorrectly highlight anything by that highway. Okay, now that will give us a good start. What we want to do though is we want to be very careful that we don't have is that really the large tool? Why is that not letting me select? Oh. Man, sometimes you have to stop and think about it for a minute. I was trying to mark an industry or a district as a certain specialization, but I hadn't painted the district yet. So let's just make sure that we don't have any polluting industry on this side of the highway. We're just going to call all this farming for now, just to be safe. So if we do build anything out here that happens to get zoned as industry, right now it's only going to be farming. We might change our mind up here, up on top of that mountain, where we have some ore. But for right now, just in case we have any accidents, we don't want any polluting. It is noise pollution, but we just want this to be some nice, little quiet farmland out here. So we will paint that district specialization so you can see that it's farming now. What we could do, provide a little extension to our street over here. This is kind of our two-way street that comes on and off the highway. We could do a block for our city services here. And we can cram our dump in here right by the highway. And then we'll come over here and we'll build just a couple little small residential blocks. In fact, I'm not even going to zone everything out. I want it to be pretty compact back here, but I want it to feel kind of loose at the same time. So we'll do this just for some curves that kind of go with the terrain, the slope a little bit. We'll get a little med clinic out here for everybody. We will do police and fire right on this same central block as well, too. Did not mean to put it there, so let's just move it. So it's just right there on the corner. And we don't want them to be left out, so let's also do... We'll do an elementary school here, we'll do a high school here. A little funny with the slope. But I can deal with it. We can come back and kind of smooth out the terrain and rebuild stuff if we want to later on. But let's stamp out some small residential pockets over here. I'm going to do like every other little zone here so that the houses kind of feel a little bit more spaced out, as they probably would be out in the country by the farms. And we can fill some of the space in with trees, maybe even drop in, you know, a park or a decoration here or there. But this will kind of, I think, make it feel a little bit more like farmland. I could be fooling myself here, but we don't want residential there. We could do a little bit of a small commercial pocket on the kind of main street here. Right there. We'll do our trick so that if we do have any kind of routing problems, you don't have to leave the city to get back in. Just in case. We didn't bring water in yet, so let's see where the easiest spot to do that is. Probably from over here in our industry. I'll just extend this way out because at some point we're going to want to build maybe some more farms, some more road networks. We can put some of our unique buildings like the observatory way up on this mountain maybe. But a little bit of overlap there is not necessarily a bad thing. And then we're going to want to bring over power too. So where's the easiest spot to bring power from? I want to minimize kind of my routes. We don't have power lines everywhere, extension cords running all over the place, but for right now, let's see where it will let us fit this in. We do it right there without overlapping anybody. No, it's going to kill those businesses. We'll just bring it over from here. We'll figure out something later. In fact, maybe we will even like build a little power station out over there. Although honestly, by the time I don't know. We'll think about it. We'll change this up as we go. I'm gonna run way more power line than I need around the zone for right now. But depending on where people move in, it can be powered. At least we can connect a line easily enough. Now we have a big industry demand, so I'm hoping that people will want to move into the farmland up here. We'll see. We've got a little bit of residential demand, a little bit of commercial demand, so that's starting to fill in. We've got our first couple farms popping up, which is excellent. Exactly what we wanted up here. So again, we'll delete some of these power lines. Maybe we'll do a localized power station out here down the road. Why do we not have power? Because we're running low on electric. When we get to 50, that's when we get the nuclear power plant, and then we will stop having to build these power plants everywhere. But for right now, I'm just going to keep slapping them down over here. You know what? Maybe this is this our opportunity right here to put a power plant? We don't want to do coal over here. We would much rather do... I'm sorry, we don't want to do oil. That's more heavily polluting. You know what? We're gonna put it over here. We'll do some green energy over there once we have enough for the city. We'll figure out what to do over there. Maybe we'll do some wind turbines along the river, some solar power plant to meet the demand during the day for the industry. But we've got our first couple farms cropping up here. So excellent. This is great. This is a good start out here. Now we could, before people get too moved in, just so we can zone some of this off, right? Let's do that. Let's maybe connect from here somewhere along this road. And that just gets us more area to zone. Come back in here. We've still got a decent amount of industry demand. This should more than meet it right there. We'll do that for now. More than enough for now. As you can see here, like we've got our houses that are a little bit spread out now. Some of these just don't belong out here, right? Like this isn't too out of place. But like these houses don't really look like they belong out in the farmlands. You got a pool out there? A little above ground. A little playground out back. Technicolor beetle. Going out nicely. Okay, so we need workers out here. This was one thing that I was a little bit concerned about, was there's just not enough residents near here, right? In fact, our population is dropping right now for the first time in a while. Let's give people an easy way to get out here. So right here, smack in the center of town, right over here in our residential area, and maybe right down here in the edge of our farming district. So we'll connect those up first so that people have an easy way to get around here, although they probably honestly won't take these routes because it's not that far. Isn't really saving anybody anything. But then let's connect them into maybe down here. Yeah, I know you need workers, guys. I'm working on it. I'm working on getting people a nice, easy route to get up here. Okay, so, and this is, unfortunately, they don't make the routes the easiest thing here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take people from here. Nope, we'll start up here. We forgot to do this line first. So we'll create a line going from here to here to here and back. And then I want to get people from, say, the central stop here to down here. Is that creating a new line? Oh, what'd I do? I deleted one of the stops. So let's try this again. Create a new line. From there, add a stop. To here. Over here. This one's just running all over the place. There's no science to this one. Because what I really need to do is I need to come back in here and rethink my line start to finish. I've just been kind of, as we spun up each one of these, right? We did a loop around this district, this group of neighborhoods. And we did another loop around here, and then we connected the two so that you could go from here to here. And then when we built this, we did the exact same thing. So we did a loop around it, and then we connected from here to here, to here, to up there. And we've got so many lines that kind of crisscross. Ideally, what we want to have everywhere is one local route. And then when we're finished, one big route that takes us all the way around the city, or at least to some of the major stops within each one of those cities. And then we can work on the train. That's the other thing that I really need to get going on, is the train tracks that are going to run around here as well too. But there's just so much to do, you know. There's not enough time. We've got our cargo train in here, and in fact, there we go. Couple trains bringing goods in, taking them out, and you can see now we've got trucks that are actually pathing that way. So this 6-lane road is actually being used for the most part, because people are thinking about where they want to go. Do they want to be, you know, in these lanes to turn right and deliver stuff to the cargo? Do they want to go into the city? Do they want to get onto the highway, or, you know, get out of the highway over to that zone? So people have more choices now, and as you can see, and before I jinx myself, let me make sure everything's kind of flowing good here. So getting off the highway looks good. Getting on the highway looks good. How is this area doing down here? Getting a little busy. This is getting busy. But it's moving, you know. Things are moving. We've got our new little triangle neighborhood over here. We do have a bunch of residential demand creeping up again, so we could start. Why are we missing water up here? Do we miss a piece of pipe? Whew. Not good. You guys are thirsty. I can't believe I didn't notice that. I have a tendency as well too, and I know it drives some of you crazy in the comments, and it drives me absolutely crazy when I go back to edit the video, but like, I'll see those icons floating off to the side of the screen, and I will think back to myself like, how did you not see that? Why did you not address that problem? And I just get really focused on some of the issues that we're having. Like this. This is not good. Most of our farms have already been abandoned because they just don't have workers. So maybe we need to give people a lot more reason to live out here. Let's do it real quick. Let's try and fix this problem a little bit before we go. Let me go up to about there. We'll connect this. Move one person out. That's fine. And we'll do a couple residential neighborhoods. Because obviously we need more people living out here. There is a demand, so maybe, hopefully, they'll want to live out here in the farmlands. And they've got highway and metro access as well, too. They choose to. See, the commercial businesses over here are getting abandoned as well, because there's just not enough people out here. We've given them one little simple metro route, but, you know, that's not enough. So probably get rid of those power lines because it's preventing me from zoning out here, and run this a little bit smarter. Get some bigger houses in here. And then let's look at power. So that's actually spreading pretty nicely over there, but just in case enough buildings move out and I want to bulldoze them, we'll connect that. We're gonna need water. That neighborhood is not totally covered. But as I was saying, you know, sometimes it drives me crazy that I don't notice, you know, these problems when I'm focused on another project. Like, this is what we just built, and it obviously wasn't built right. You can see, I mean, again, this is just a Let's Play. I make mistakes just like any of you. What we're seeing here is not enough workers, buildings getting abandoned. Hopefully we've given them more room to move in. People will want to work close to where they live, ideally. If not, they've got good routes to get on the metro and get out of the farmlands. But we'll see if this is at all sustainable. If this fixes the problem, hopefully, that would be good. If it doesn't, though, we'll rethink our farmlands and maybe our road layout here, and maybe just turn this into an office park. Worst case, but at least for right now, we've answered some of the industry demand, and we're not polluting, which is good. That is always good. But soon enough, before you know it, we'll be at 70,000, 75,000, hopefully. If we don't keep hitting these population bump problems. But this area out here just definitely did not work. I should have answered the residential demand first. Had people move in and then given them jobs to work out around here and slowly, I mean to do that, and then slowly kind of built up that industry. But we had that huge industry demand, so I figured I'd just drop it in, and it did not work. So we'll keep doing some neighborhoods up here. We'll look at our coverage in the next episode. We are very close to 36,000. Get a little bump there. Get some extra area to build on. The real exciting one, though, is going to be at 50,000 when we can address our power problems for quite a bit. Cargo hub. And then when we finally get to 75,000, we can drop in our airports. And something I hadn't done in the last series. So that'll start to bring more people in and out of the city, which will be nice. But we'll see how this does in the next episode. We'll keep an eye on this. Again, we might just rework this road network and turn it into an office park up on the hill. But we will see. We wanted to try to do a little bit of farming. It was a little bit late for it maybe, and not quite what people wanted with the higher education that they have. And of course, the fact that they live way the heck over there. And who's going to commute over here when you can get a good high-paying job in the city? Or in our beautiful city of tomorrow. Our circular city. But that about does it for now. I'm going to call it quits on today's episode. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. As always, it really helps the channel a lot. If you are new here, consider subscribing for more City Skylines and all other kinds of great gaming videos. While you're at it, hit that bell to get notifications, because it's very easy for a channel like mine to get lost in the shuffle. But until the next one, this is Move the Mouse, signing off.